Stimulus checks, yay, free money raining down. Graphics of money raining down. It's scary. I was on Twitter and I saw a tweet about Wells Fargo talking about how they could get their stimulus checks deposited or something, and then people were responding to it, talking about how slow it was, and just, it was trending. It was like people were freaking out. They want their money so bad, $1,200 or $1,500 or whatever it is. And like, yeah, I get it. For some people that's going to help, but it's like, what do you do? If you need $1,200 to live because you're not generating income, what are you going to do after that check? I don't know. I don't understand the logic. And I guess for a lot of people, they just want to spend the money. But what I was thinking is these stimulus checks are the perfect pacifier for the masses. That's what it is. It's a big government pacifier. It's pretty scary. And I believe it's a bootloader for socialism. A lot of people are talking about UBI. I think it's going to increase the frequency that we talk about it. I think we're going to have more people like Andrew Chan or whatever try to campaign on that. And it's going to get more popular because people have already gotten a taste of it and they're going to want more. And cancer are going to come in and they're going to say, I'll give you free money. And then that's going to happen more and more and more. And what's going to happen as a result is people are going to be willing to give more rights. Government's going to realize, oh, well, if we give them money, then we can do more of these things, take more control, more power. And it's just going to lead to pure socialism. And whether you call it communism, socialism, Marxism, I always see people, anytime you mention these, talk about how they're different. They're all the same side of a coin, or two sides of the same coin, or whatever. It's collectivism. It's the distribution of power and wealth using violence or the threat of violence. And it's some people saying, I know better than you. I'm going to write policies that are going to affect your life. I'm going to remove your sovereignty a lot of ways, a little bit of ways, half ways, whatever, because I know better. It is control and redistribution of things like wealth, rights, and equality or inequality or whatever. And it has failed every time in history. And every country that's had any kind of free market success or has had growth, whether that is socialist countries in, let's say, Canada or Europe, or even China, it's because they've opened up and allowed certain free markets to thrive. And that has brought more prosperity to people, which then gives them more buying power, which gives them more power in general. And politicians pay attention, corporations pay attention. And the more power the individual has by having control of their life, their finances, what they think, etc., the more that governments are forced to be kept in check. But something like America, which was rooted in this, started in this, and has had more prosperity and brought more abundance to more people than any country in history of the world, has been slowly eroding away because of the political system we have. Politicians realize that they can promise things, and everyone wants to like fix things. Every campaign, some new thing to fix, some new thing that's going to improve my life, some injustice that needs to be corrected, some unfairness that needs to be leveled out or stamped out, some inequality that government should come in and fix. Anytime government or any group of collective humans try to come in and fix things through interventions, through money, through this, through that, through laws, it actually creates more of the very problem. And it also creates unintended consequences and side effects and second, third, fourth, fifth order effects that nobody can plan for. And the problem with this is that if you were doing this in a business, it'd be fine because you would learn through your experiment that it doesn't work because you're not making money or you're losing money or your customers are leaving. That's a free market force. So then you would change and adapt and figure out what the market really wants. And that's how you make the most money. And then that's how the consumer grows because he or she gets what he or she wants. And that's how the business grows because you give customers what they want. And that's how prosperity for all happens. That's what free market capitalism is all about. Letting a free market do its thing is basically letting nature do its thing. When governments come in and mingle, it creates massive fragility. And the most important thing, because government is not beholden to free markets, there's no feedback loops. This is the most important thing that people need to understand. Soviet Union, even through killing millions of people starving in the streets, nothing changed until the leaders, until the entire thing crumbled, basically. The leaders had to die or be assassinated or somebody had to come in or whatever. That's the only reason things changed. Governments don't have feedback loops in, and people believe that their voting is a way of doing that, but voting is kind of a sham. Just like a stimulus check is basically a big pacifier to keep the masses at bay and whatever, because people forget. They don't pay attention. Tell me how many politicians that you voted for in your lifetime? Like, do you know their track record? Do you know what they promised to do and what they actually did? Have you looked at that list at all? And the things that they did do, did you look at what actually happened? Was there research done on what the effects were? Did it actually solve anything? Did it make it worse? Ronald Reagan's famous quote is like, the most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm the government and I'm here to help. He understood the dangers of these things. He maybe intuitively grasped the importance of letting nature take its course and letting humans do what they need to do, letting the world and feedback loops take its course. And over time, because most humans can have the same goals, we will build a better and more prosperous world. And that's why free market capitalism is still the best thing for humans. It's basically natural law, because it's, you're the individual, you're sovereign, you decide how you spend your money, how you make it, whatever you want to do with it. The government should have no say in that whatsoever. And through doing that, corporations will come in and give you products and services. And then you have massive choice. So you go to the companies and buy the products and services that serve you the best, that have the best pricing, the best quality, whatever. And this is how everybody grows. This is how prosperity grows. This is how I can have all the things around me and all this technology. The very things, it's so funny, the very things that people use that are addicted to in their lives, the technology, the conveniences, things like Amazon Prime, food that's clean and on demand, doesn't kill you. All these technologies are used by the very people that love to demonize billionaires or complain about capitalism or promote socialism and all these things. It's a lack of understanding basic economics, basic free markets, basic history. It's pure ignorance. But what's so funny and ironic about it, go to any of these countries now or in the past that had these systems of equality. It's always some combination of for the greater good, for the greater good. But what did Hitler do with the Jews? It was for the greater good for the German people. That's what he told everyone. That's what he, I think, believed. Look how that turned out. The greater good is probably the most dangerous thing that you can do. You need to let nature take its course. But my point is, go to any of those countries, even now Venezuela, Lebanon's having hyperinflation, things are crazy over there. Go live in China. And I mean, of course, China has free markets for technology. Like they were hip to that, right? But go to a place like Venezuela and then try to find clean food, drinking water, consistent internet, AC, safety, fire, medical, from the very comforts that capitalism and freedom and the little bit of sovereignty that we have as Americans that's been eroding more away. People criticize the very system that gives them those things. It's so bizarre to me. And I feel like it's probably going to go down in the history books. In 100 years, future historians are going to talk about 2020, 2021, and maybe like this 10-year period of time, and just kind of like probably laugh at us, feel bad for us, look at us as if we're caveman, because we were still trying these ideas. We were still leading to socialist democracy. As Lenin said, democracy is indispensable to socialism. Why is that the case? Because mob rule. And when you can convince mob rule that you should vote a certain way because you get on a podium and you promise free things, money, fixing all the injustices, you just give them words. You manipulate them with your words. People eat it up. They vote. Things happen. 3 to 4 years later, they forget. And they vote for the next guy or gal who promises more nonsense. And where's the feedback loop? Where's the tracking? Where's the skin in the game for the politician? Politicians can do things, write laws, enact things, and then what happens doesn't affect them. Very few people pay attention to what laws have been written or whatever. I mean, our president today supported the most racist law in history, one of the most racist laws in the history of America. It was like in the 90s, the drug law. It was the drug law, the cocaine law. I forgot what it was called. But Biden supported that. And then he gets elected in a year in which race is a huge theme, mostly because of the support of the modern media and big tech supporting the left narrative. It's insanity to me. It's insanity to me. These are just my thoughts on the stimulus check. If you're going to get the free money, get it. But buy Bitcoin with it. Don't spend it on stupid crap. In fact, don't even pay your debt off. Just buy Bitcoin. It's the only thing that's actually going to help protect you and your family in your future. It's the only thing that's going to help you be a sovereign individual. And if you don't have it, you are missing the most important insurance policy you've ever had. And it's probably going to be the best investment of your life. Government makes you buy car insurance. You know, you buy a house, the bank makes you buy home insurance and then overprices it and then denies claims. And like, don't even get me started on the racket that is insurance. That's not financial advice. That's life advice. You're going to do whatever you want with your stimulus check. But if I was getting one, I'd be putting it in Bitcoin, 100%. Maybe I would buy some ammo if I didn't have ammo, but I got plenty of ammo. Maybe I'd be buying a little bit of silver to keep on myself, but I got plenty of silver. And the only other place to put it is Bitcoin. So I'm working on the new course. I've completely changed it. I've realized what people really want is they want peace of mind. They want a plan. They want to help with getting things done, because this is a lot of stuff to take on. So if you want to be an anti-fragile individual, if you want to actually benefit if the American dollar collapses or the economy collapses or we get more socialism every year, I mean, we pretty much are going to, but how do you prepare yourself and your family for these inevitabilities based on the way things are going? How do you sleep soundly at night, even though the craziness of government and money printing and the Fed and all the nonsense that goes on in our culture? How do you do that? You build a plan that actually makes you likely to benefit if things go really bad. And that's going to at least make you benefit partly or a little bit or even a lot if things kind of maintain themselves. And what's crazy about this and ironic, and how, if you look at history, how this invention of Bitcoin came to be, and how the internet and decentralized models and things like censorship and all these things that are going on, it's not just Bitcoin, it's also the internet and the sharing of information and your ability to kind of circumvent these things. These all happened about around the same time that governments have been trying to exert more and more control. And this is kind of the answer to that. It's the antidote. It's amazing how this has happened. And it's just another example of how free markets need to do its thing to protect human sovereignty and human rights. And when other people or governments or groups try to say, I know better than you, or I know what's best, or I'm going to do this, they're usually going to make it worse. And if they do make one thing better, it's likely to be like whack-a-mole. They create 10 other fragilities that become problems and whatever. So to become an anti-fragile individual for you, for your body, your health, your mind, your wealth, your finances, and your family, I'm working on a course to help you do that. It's going to cover body, mind, health, and then your wealth. How to protect your wealth, how to create a strategy that you'll actually benefit if things go really bad, and you're going to benefit anyways. How to make sure you have the physical resources that you might need. You don't have to spend thousands of dollars and to do tons of research. You don't need to become a full-blown prepper, but you do need to have a baseline level of stuff for preparedness. And let me tell you, I know what that's all about, considering 2 weeks ago, the house we just moved into, a rental, flooded, and we were homeless for about 3 weeks, living in Airbnbs. Mostly because the power went out, and it got really cold here, and the pipes can't handle it, and what a nightmare. You better believe I'm not going to be caught off guard like that again. We were burning IKEA shelves for firewood. I kid you not. And then your health, of course. Do you have a strategy for your health? Are you constantly building it and growing it? And that's obviously connected to your mind. How do you think? What are your habits, your routines like? Do you have a strategy so that when stress comes into your life, it can actually fuel you, make you more prepared, stronger, better? Or does it beat you down a little bit more? Are you just getting browbeat down daily? More stressed, more overweight, more sick, etc. It's all about how you think about things and the strategies you take to respond to them. That's what the Anti-Fragile Individual is about. To learn more, head over to iamantifragile.com. Get in there now. And of course, if you have any questions or comments, you can just email me or DM me or whatever. I hope you do something with this information. If you had to do one thing today, it would be get your passport and buy some Bitcoin. That's pretty much what I'm going to recommend you do every single time you listen to a podcast or watch a video. I'm going to tell you at the end of every show, buy some Bitcoin and buy more Bitcoin, not just buy a little bit, but keep buying it, and make sure you have your passport. Those two things are your get out of jail free card. Head over to Colin Coach, get on the Better Human newsletter, and get my weekly newsletter full of content to help you become an anti-fragile individual, and free resources and my favorite tweets of the week, etc. It's amazing. I love it. I feel like every week it gets better and better. So I hope to see you over at colin.coach. I hope to see you in there. Colin.coach. See you in the next one.